You mentioned the franchise. That was one
Yes.
of the acquisition channels. Can you tell us more about this channel? How do you develop? How do you approach franchises? Because this
Yeah.
is so far from what I remember, this is the first time somebody mentions franchising.
It is a little known secret indeed, for rapidly expanding internationally and also bringing fast cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
And too few companies and startup are thinking about that, franchising or licensing, and that is something I found, and it's also something I'm already involved in a project to franchise another company. We can talk about it. It's actually a digital marketing agency, and the project started 2 weeks ago, and we're closing our first franchise this week,
Nice,
and not far from you guys in Bulgaria. So,
nice.
so franchising, how it happened is maybe at the third year. It was very random, and it's often the case for entrepreneurs who end up franchising. Someone heard about my concept, so I was I'm in Thailand. I had the presence in Singapore and Thailand, and then someone in the Philippines heard about my concept and asked, "Hey, do you like franchise, or can I be a reseller or something?" So I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Okay, that's interesting. Well, let me think about it." So I looked up I googled some information. I don't remember. I came up with a package, and I said, "Okay, so what, what was the price at the beginning?" I said, "Okay, it's going to be 10,000 euros, something like that." And
Mm-hmm.
then and then it's okay. Then I flew to the Philippines. I brought a couple of machines, and then did some training and all that, and then started to support this franchisee
Mm-hmm.
in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
and who actually it is my first, and he's still with us, which is something I'm very proud. But obviously also he's all the network. So it's we've had at the peak we've had over maybe 25 franchises in 20 countries.
Nice.
It seems big, but this COVID, it put everyone to the ground, and everyone, all of them are forced to do something else, of course, like myself. So it's a bit of a floating situation right now. So it started in the Philippines, and then a friend of mine in Indonesia asked about it, and then we did the same thing. And then for the first year, actually 1 or 2 years, it was organic like that. I didn't push it. And then at some point, I decided to proactively generate franchise leads.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty simple. You have specialized portals for franchise opportunities. You have basically directories where people who are looking for franchise opportunities can find what's available in their country. So, food, education, service, this and that. So I started to pay for listing on these portals, and I'm mostly using the leader, which is called Franchise Direct,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really great. I highly recommend if someone is interested in franchising their company, happy to connect with them and share some advice. So I started to list, and then you just receive leads almost every day. So I set up a funnel like with an autoresponder
Mm-hmm.
to book, book a call, and just you book the call, and that's the funnel. And then boom, some conversions happened. So I had this running. So that was my best funnel actually in the life of this company. It was the franchise funnel. And last year, over the last years, franchise became 70% of my revenue.
Mm. Nice.
In franchise fees and renewals.
I want
So
to
yeah,
ask.
Mhm.
Yeah, please go ahead. I will ask later.
No, so I just wanted to say you do have specialized portals for lead
Mhm.
generation.
Mhm.
Typically, you either pay a monthly listing fee or a cost per lead.
Mhm.
The cost per lead is can be between $10 and $30 per lead, typically.
Mhm.
And it's like hot leads. It's super qualified because it's people who are ready to interested to invest. I mean, ready to invest, and they've seen your description, so they're requesting information about
Mhm.
your business. Basically, on the directory, they make a little landing page for you, like a profile
Mhm.
page,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's it. And what I realized is that anywhere at any point of time, anywhere in the world, there are many people looking to start a business and ready to invest. And
Mhm.
most people, they're not like us. They are not creators or founders. It's not their thing to invent something. So
Mhm.
they just want to a proven concept, something to execute. And something less risky, because also the franchised businesses, they completely beat the odds in terms of business failure. They survive much longer because of the concept of the franchise, which is a proven business model that you replicate.
Mhm.
So at any point of time there is a almost limitless supply of investors and people who want to start a business, and there's an opportunity which I believe is under exploited to leverage on that. And it's when you look at those directories, is too often is all those traditional brick and mortar stuff, or the typical franchise concept, but there
Mhm.
are very few innovative concepts or very few digital, and I think part of the reasons why I was able to reach 20 countries so fast and with very limited budget in the end, it's because this concept was so innovative. It was unlike anything else, and people had how to say, they just fell in love with the concept,
Mhm.
because it's very cool and everything, and the decision was made very fast. In some
Mhm.
cases, it was even 24 hours later the contract was signed.
Wow.
Yeah. So especially if you're bootstrapping, it's a great thing if your business answers the criteria for licensing or franchising, which is uh, already your own business is successful. I mean, it works. The business model is
Mhm.
proven, and
Mhm.
it's replicable without
Mhm.
yourself, and it's
Mhm.
duplicable in any country. It doesn't depend on your particular culture or geography. But if
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
if you answer to that, yeah, there is a
Mhm.
process that I figured out, and now that I'm doing for other companies, that you can just execute, and yeah, you see this digital agency, boom, 2 weeks, first franchisee, and yeah, and it's just the beginning. And so to give you an idea on this funnel, in terms of ROI,
Mhm.
uh, $1 for Impressius, $1 invested in the franchise advertising brought me uh, predictably $18 to $19 in revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's over 2 years, like stable, 18 to 19, stable.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty good ROI.
Definitely.